The light force of your bond, a power like life itself, unseen for generations. A dyad in the force.
Hello, welcome to another episode of DYAD in the Force, episode 252. The one where a new piece of detail was dropped just nonchalantly by the folks over on the set of Starfighter. But of course, we always start off with just casual conversation in a mixer with our chat. Choco, how's the hat?
Things are going. I not gonna lie, it's a tough time being an American.
This is why we do what we do.
I know. We were trying to bring levity and stuff. It's just like, what the hell? Anyhow, yeah. No, things are going well. You know, just doing the thing with work. You know, so surprised that the stuff, news that be dropping. Also, it sounds like there was just a big old update that dropped on Where Winds Meet.
Yes, a huge one. Like, lots of quality of life stuff. We'll talk about it when we get to the mixer. But shout out to everyone in the chat. Kenny says hello there, everyone. Nemo says we out here. Xcore says hello, fellow nerds. Good evening, Phineas McCormick. Connor says hello, mate. How we doing? I could talk about Tom Cruise for hours. He's my favorite actor of all time, and Cocktail is in my box top 4.
Okay.
Nemo says, Choco, I need that hat. Yes, you do.
Yeah.
We have
Admiral hat.
we have Ball Atreides on the TikTok side. It says hello.
Ball Atreides.
I mean, that's why I say.
I love it. No, that's awesome. I love it.
I was smirking saying that, and just because it made me think like Ball Atreides nuts. But welcome to the show. If you're new here, we just talk about Star Wars and everything else in fandom, and we hang out with the chat because some things are going down in the world, and we need some type of community to keep ourselves grounded and to keep ourselves just
sane.
Yeah,
sanity is underrated. So yeah, I mean,
are there any door-to-door salesmen of sanity? We need some.
Well, I mean, to be quite honest, and I've shared this many times, but like that's literally the reason I started making content was because things were going down, and I needed an outlet that was help me restore some sanity and remove some anxiety. So I appreciate you and everyone in the chat for helping to make that happen. And yeah,
all right, let's get straight into the mixer. You guys are saying that what is your letterbox top 4? Are you sick, Pep? I was sick last week. My voice is still recovering though.
It is sounding a bit better though.
It is. I wasn't able to like do any affects when we were recording our legend reaction, but this stuff lingers. It's never a on and off thing anymore.
Okay, but now it's even better to sing gravelly sounding stuff because you feel better, but you still have the voice, right?
The deep voice, but I can't hit my Andrew McMahon's or my Anthony Green's or my Claudio Sanchez's. It's still missing.
Yeah, but you got the rasp, you could If you could only see the way she loves me. You know, you can.
Yeah.
You can do some of that stuff, right?
I could do deeper stuff like start spreading the news. I was gonna say you should do Louis Armstrong impression, but it might not be the best idea.
Skies of blue and clouds of white. I see them bloom.
But before we get into obviously the main topic, we do have a poll up that says, "What do you think the lightsaber duel in Starfighter represents?" We have a 43% saying Ryan Gosling is actually a Jedi, 53% saying there is another Jedi in the movie.
There is another.
We will get into that as we get into our main segment, but yes, of course, to kind of preface everything, Sean Levy was doing an interview about being on the set of Starfighter, and there was a whole bunch of visitors, which doesn't signal how dead Star Wars is. There's a lot of like high profile people trying to come by the set. It's like, hey, what are you guys doing? Steven Spielberg came by, and of course Tom Cruise. He was just like, I just want to see what's going on. And then Sean Levy's like, why don't you get behind the camera here? And nonchalantly, he's like, we're filming a lightsaber duel right now, so let's get behind the camera. And I was like, that's that's a major detail, because the only thing we've had so far is it's a Starfighter. That's the title. He might be a pilot. So yeah, we're in the thick of things in terms of speculation now as to what. See, there's a lot to talk about. We'll get to it quickly. Let's go on to our mixer just so we can talk about it. Kenny asks, are we allowing guests? We're always allowing guests. I don't always have the waiting room open, so you do have to say if you're in the waiting room, and then I'll transfer you in, because we always do kind of take live calls in this manner. But yeah, if you want to come on and talk about it, we can talk about it. There's a lot of things to talk about when it comes to this drop, because it could be more than just the two options that I have on the poll. But what are we doing this past week? Catching up on some anime. I started finally watching Clevetess. I also watched this incredible pilot episode called Sentenced to be a Hero. And
okay, I was looking into that. I haven't started. I know a whole bunch of new anime just started up, and I was waiting for a couple episodes, but Sentenced to be a Hero looks really good.
It is a banger. I mean, the first episode is an hour, so it's not even like, okay, this is the world, and then you gotta wait for the next one. Like they did a lot, like, in terms of setting up the world, setting up the lore, and introducing the character that you're going to follow, and it's so good. I watched it with Cal, but like that, I feel like more anime should drop 1 hour first episodes. Primarily,
that's what Sword of the Demon Hunter did.
Yeah. Primarily to get over the whole, because the whole like history of anime, at least for me, is I need 3 or 4 episodes.
Yeah.
But like, if you spend an hour on the first episode, especially if you're like trying to introduce a fictional world that comes with its own politics and comes with its own mythos, for sure, drop me in for an hour. I'll watch that, especially if you're just going to drop one. If you're going to drop one, it's not enough. Yeah, I'll watch it 1 week. We'll watch 18 minutes of it and be like, looks interesting, and then forget about it. We got an hour. It's a great one. Nemo in the chat says it's a banger. It is a banger. You got to hit that up.
Sort of the Demon Hunter set the bar so high, and then it was completely different. Yeah, that's true. That is true. Sometimes I do that where the first hour is so. I like what you were referring to, Pep, where it is the first episode is a larger section of the story. Sort of the Demon Hunter was more like the first episode is an hour. It was a fantastic hour, but that first hour was the backstory to the story that was about to start. That's also kind of like how the first episode of Oshinoko was, but that series is still good.
Yeah, there's a lot of so I feel like the backstory in the first hour of Sentence to Be a Hero happens in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So like you're kind of dropped in and they give you a good sense of the world and then what's happening, right? And then like the cliffhanger of the last episode is like it reveals like sort of the backstory of where we're gonna go from here, and that was really, really done well. Because like yeah, there are some anime that would take that first hour and front load it with exposition and stuff. This one was really good. You just really need to watch it. This is really good.
Yeah, then I will definitely be jumping into it. Neil says Oshinoko broke me that first episode. Bro, why did they have to draw her in the end of that episode like that? That was traumatizing. Like,
Yeah.
that was rough.
They don't have a name on TikTok, but they said watch like half the first episode. Seems good. Watch the rest. It's great. Phineas just said I just started binging Upload on Amazon this last week up to season 3 or 4. Very solid sci-fi comedy from Greg Daniels. I enjoyed Upload.
I have not seen it.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Phineas. That's the one with Robbie Amell, right? Because if that's the case, yeah, I also watched it. It was really good. I had no idea. I was going in blind. I thought I was going to be a cute K-pop type anime, and then boom, plot twist with the doc.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a weird show.
Well, I suppose because I haven't seen Oshinoko. So Oshinoko has an hour long first episode.
Yeah, and it's amazing. It's really, really good.
Is it a single season?
No. The third season is actually coming out like this month.
Gotcha. All right. Well, there's that.
Also, I didn't get to watch it yet, but a trailer dropped for
Doomsday?
what's it called? Asta and
Oh, Black Clover?
for Black Clover, yeah.
I was about to say, you haven't seen the Doomsday trailer yet?
I actually haven't.
You haven't?
If there's a new one besides the teaser, I haven't.
Oh, what have you seen?
A leaked teaser that with
Leaked teaser? No, this was an official teaser.
okay. Yeah, I guess I haven't. Bro, I haven't. Yeah, especially after getting sick this past weekend, I've just been like literally, I would go to work and then just come home and go to bed.
Okay.
Which was actually kind of nice.
Let's see how we can do this. Let me download it. I think that'll be the easiest way because we're
Choco and Pep both getting sick at the same time. Yeah, I got like a flu and he got a cold. So we diverged, but as usual, whatever he's missing, I pick up, and vice versa. So.
okay. Hold on. Let me switch what I'm sharing with you right now.
We're supposed to heal each other. We do that metaphorically.
And then that's what happens when we have to like do things live. I didn't know you didn't see this.
Yeah, whatever we're looking at right now, I have not seen.
Okay, 1 second.
By the way, I just, once again, this type of thing makes me mad about Solo all over again. Right? Because this movie is coming out December 18th. It is January 9th, and a trailer exists for it, right? The first trailer for Solo came out in February. And the movie was coming out like 2 months later. Like, they really crapped the bed.
Alright. I think we should be all set. I think it's framed nicely, huh?
Yeah, I can see it. Oh yeah, showing good on both.
All right,
y'all
guys.
still do Kahoot quizzes? Yes, we do. We did them last week.
Yeah, we last 2 weeks. I think before the New Year one, we did Kahoots. But I've been setting up more and more, so they'll become sort of like a, bi-weekly thing. Not bi-weekly, every other week. All right, Choco's first time, Ball of Trade Easy's first time. Let's go.
All right,
Let me pause this real quick.
Death comes for us all.
Okay. Is this the Sanctum? Yeah.
That's all I know for sure.
Okay, Picard?
The question isn't,
What up?
are you prepared to die?
This is the X matchup. Gotcha.
The question is, who will you be when you close your eyes?
Do it. Oh, and no, they take it from the end of X-Men United. That tells us who it's going to be. Yeah! Sorry, what?
That's the one. Let's leave it on this frame real quick.
Sorry, that healed my soul a little bit. I have the weirdest boner right now.
He has a half chub grin. Seriously though, the Jim Lee suit exists. It's not hidden in a chest somewhere. I mean, I almost cried when I saw this too.
I feel it in my chest. Sorry, I was not expecting my own reaction to be like that.
No, I was trying not to like say anything too, because you were like, "Oh, they're taking it from United," and I was like, "Not exactly." In my mind, I was like, "Not exactly."
Yeah.
But tell me what you see.
I mean, are we gonna have some form of sentinels running around like destroying stuff? I feel like it seems like we are doing a true. Oh no, this is Doomsday.
Yeah. But those are sentinels in the background.
Yeah.
Like if you can see my cursor, that's a big ass sentinel boot.
Yeah. So we're definitely getting, and someone mentioned that there was going to be several trailers. So I think what we are really going to watch is like, I mean, we're getting another Infinity War level of sadness. I think we're going to end up watching like 4 or 5 worlds end.
Might be, yeah.
Hopefully it happens at the beginning and not the end. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. Um, I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see. I am hoping the movie like opens with Order 66, and then when we get to rebuilding, so we can actually rebuild a team. Um,
It's a beautiful frame, though.
that is a fantastic frame. Uh, man.
Hashtag justice for James Marsden.
Listen, I love James Marsden. Okay?
No, I loved him too.
He worked for me. Also, I mean, he's just he's a handsome man, and he doesn't age. It's super weird.
Yeah, there's a lot of vampires in Hollywood.
Does he not look the same now? Like when he showed up on on 30 Rock like 10 years after this, you were like, that can't be him. Did he get younger? The hell?
Yeah. All right, let's get back to our other scene. That was lovely.
Okay.
I did
I
not
could,
know you had not seen that.
I could mess with that. Okay, I could mess with that. Yeah, in the Sonic movies, he's so young. What the hell?
It's true. It's very true. Like you said, he doesn't age at all.
So kind of says based on the multi-person mass incursions take place when one person stays in a different universe for too long. The Fantastic Four are definitely going to be from their universe to the MCU 6161.
Isn't
Maybe.
the MCU
I mean,
9999 or something?
they're trying to fudge it. Where the different universes may have their own designations for each other or whatever, but yeah, they called it 616 in Multiverse of Madness specifically.
Gotcha.
But Kevin Feige is wrong on that. So, I mean, hopefully, Iman Vellani gets to grow up and replace Feige.
Ball Tracy says, I do prefer the X-Men more than the Avengers, so I'll be interested in seeing this considering I had no prior interest before. Well, what did you think of that? Just that teaser. I know it's not a trailer, but it's a hefty teaser. I mean, if there's one thing I wanted to see out of at least the first look of the MCU X-Men was a classic Jim Lee Cyclops, and maybe like and maybe I didn't see that for James Marsden, but I saw that for like the new iteration that would be going forward. But I'm glad that we got this, just so that, because Hugh Jackman got his accurate costume.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that everyone that is reportedly coming back for Doomsday that's from the Foxmen universe gets their just desserts. They get their comic accurate suit and they get their comic accurate depiction in some way. Of course, the movie is not going to be all about them, right? But we need that for them. It's so cool. I really want. It's either going to be James Marsden or the new the new Sacred Timeline MCU Cyclops that says to me, my X-Men. And it's like,
yeah, I will say this. I mean, I love getting our Professor X and Magneto back. They got to be one and done.
oh, for sure.
They got to be one and done. You know what I mean? They are very old, and I'm gonna cry a lot when that future day comes. But don't, let them be.
Yeah. I'm also honestly, and Kenny, if you wanted to come in, for this discussion, because we are going to go into our main discussion soon. But I'm actually kind of glad that they reacquired the X-Men in the way that they did with just acquiring Fox as a whole, because that means that they could just take all of the shit that was from the old movies and kind of repurpose it into some sort of like an alternate universe, rather than just being like, no, none of that existed. You know what
I mean, you say that, but that's literally what the X-Men are. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like throughout the comic book history, Marvel has had, I would say, 3 main franchises, right? Spider-Man being his own thing, the Avengers being their own thing, X-Men being their own thing, and then like everyone else just kind of filters in amongst them. And X-Men, by and large, were the time travel faction, right? So like when you dealt with X-Men, there'd be a lot of time travel going on, versus if you dealt with Spider-Man, he was the one who would be in different realities, right? You would see just a bunch of different one. Fantastic Four was its own thing too. Yeah, that's true. I mean they waned in popularity, but yes, that's definitely true.
Well,
but the whole X-Men thing was always that something catastrophic would happen, and then they would have to go back in time and change it, and it'd be like, nope, that didn't happen. Nope, this didn't happen. And then sometimes, they would send just their mind back in time to change things. Or sometimes, like Maura McTaggart, they gave her an ability where she literally rewrites the timeline every time she dies. It was crazy.
So my prevailing theory, ever since this teaser dropped, and my brother-in-law was in town for his too, and we had this discussion, I think how they're going to handle this is the original X-Men movies, to pay respect and homage for everything they did for comic book movies, was the main timeline. And it was Days of Future Past, along with Deadpool, that did all of the wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey tomfoolery that caused the branching timelines.
Okay, yeah. So we would still have X3, X-Men United, and then we would have and then that timeline got reset by Days of Future Past, and then we saw those characters in Deadpool, and so that could be why he's there, and that's kind of what you were talking about, Connor. That would be the same universe that Cable is, like it's the same iteration of Cable, being his son that came back. So his son sounds a lot like Thanos. That's kind of weird. I
like what Nemo said. A Cable popping up every few months. Oh my gosh, the future sucks. and then he pops up in another timeline, and his skin is
freeze?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Let me.
It's not on your side.
Anyways, it throws on an awesome smile.
I mean, yeah, it could definitely be worse.
Try switching your video source and then back. Make that an emote. No, I like the idea that like Cable pops into like the MCU timeline. It is all of a sudden purple. He's like, this isn't the future that I thought. Who am I? The resources are dwindling. The timeline isn't balanced. There should be business moguls and political icons in Star Wars inside from Mon Mothma. There needs to be a vast array of characters that pull the strings outside the Empire as business analysts. Where is this in regards to? Shout out to Harith in the chat. I think it's Days of Future Past timeline that we see at the end of the film. Most likely, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, I do like that theory. There's a lot of those.
One.
Yeah, there's a lot of those theories that are popping up on like the Reddits and stuff like that. I like the idea that was the main timeline and everything branched out from Days of Future Past, and the one that we see Deadpool mess around with is the one with the Apocalypse movie with Nicholas Hoult and First Class. That just means that everything can exist in its own canonical pocket, but that they didn't like mess with each other and like
canonical pocket. Sorry.
And so whatever Deadpool did to mess around with like killing his Green Lantern and killing his X-Men Origins iteration of Deadpool, like it still happened. He messed with it, but all it did was just create more timelines, and then it moves swiftly into the mythos that they created with the Ancient One, where she was explaining whenever you change the past, there's always branching timelines that exist that pop out from that point. And so the main crux of Endgame was that they would put everything back into place before that change, and so that they would fix it, except Captain America didn't come back. And so even though the stones were returned, Captain America staying meant that those timelines stayed, those branches. So there's a whole bunch of like time travel buffoonery that happens, and so there's a lot of things that they have to kind of reckon with going into this movie. But I like it.
But I mean, it's also a comic movie. Like, I feel like we should just I don't know. I don't want them to like have to make something worse because they felt too hampered by not having an explanation for something, because infinite explanations do exist. So kind of like what Connor is alluding to, we could have a situation where Endgame Cap didn't return, right, and he on the alternate branch, the last place that he left the stone, lived his life with Peggy. But who's to say exactly what happened in that timeline? Maybe that timeline got to a place where there was incursions and everything fell apart, and he, Future Strange said the only way is for you to go back and give Sam your shield now, but don't tell him what's going to happen because he'll need to lead us in this time or whatever. Like there's still. Like there's thousands and thousands of possibilities. Yeah.
Just does this again. This creates a weird effect like the chicken and egg conversation. The chicken and egg conversation is a black and white easy conversation to have. It only gets tricky when people don't actually know evolution. So to put it into perspective,
what came first, chicken or the egg? Dinosaurs.
Yes, to put it into perspective, the chicken came first, right? There had to have been something that caused the laying of the chicken egg, because there were other species of poultry and other species of fowl that existed, and they through selection and time, a chicken egg was laid, and then the chicken came out, and then that was the start of the speciation for chickens. Then the first chicken laid the first chicken egg.
I mean, and I guess it's less black and white because, like, the differentiation in branches from one iteration to the other is still somewhat arbitrary because the changes were gradual.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, I get what you're saying. That is a good answer. The Beyonder came first.
Don't forget the whole multiverse is getting messy on Into the Spider-Verse. That too, but also with Andrew Garfield and that movie. What was it called? No Way Home?
No Way Home, yeah.
So, like, yeah, everything they've been doing since Endgame has just been befuddling the timelines. And then we have Loki, you know, and I think the only persistence or the only constant would be Loki, because I think he's holding together the timelines. Am I wrong in that?
Yeah, he's holding it down. What exactly that means, I don't know. But whatever. We God story Loki. Yeah, story, the god of stories. Actually, speaking of God. I'd like to talk to you about my have you seen this game coming out called Godslayer?
I've seen like the thumbnails, but I haven't checked it out.
Man, it looks good.
Everything looks good.
That's going to be man. This game looks like it's Assassin's Creed mixed with Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Okay.
Like, imagine if you could bend all four elements and you were the protagonist of Assassin's Creed. So as you watch you watch a trailer, and yeah, there are these running around doing parkour in a dense and complicated and really cool city and all this stuff. But then when an enemy pops up, you'll see him, stomp on the ground and like make a big boulder or something metal fly off of this wall and hit them, or fire bending, or all kinds of stuff. You just gotta watch the trailer. It looks that good. I was shocked when I saw it. I was like, how did they do this?
I saw a lot of that in Forspoken as well. Here's how I approach games nowadays. I feel like it's really difficult to screw up the slice. Because we've had so many years to perfect your main gameplay mechanic. Where my trepidation comes in is all of its verticals, right? Because when I saw Where Winds Meet, I didn't fall in love with it until I experienced all the other all the other like awesome stuff that's in it, right? Yeah, it's got great combat. It's hard to do a game. I know a lot of games do combat wrong, but like it's not hard to do that well when you have several decades of experience and talent that have been doing games that have great combat. Black Myth Wukong is just one example. And then like when I see a trailer nowadays, I will say it looks good, but I have to get my hands on it first to see how the rest of it plays. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's going to be bad.
No, I get what you're saying. I would just say, because depending on what a trailer for something looks like, I also have that thought process. So going back, the last few trailers that I saw that I got really, really excited and followed the game coming out was Expedition 33. I was talking about that game to you a year before it came out. You know, same thing with I was talking about Where Winds Meet, and I feel like I have a good track record with the ones that I was really excited about. Overall, not perfect.
Was the other
you,
game a couple weeks ago that we also watched the trailer live? Because that's another one that looks like it just has a whole bunch of stuff.
Yay 4,346 super shattered 13.32 Ramans. Happy new Star Wars year 2026. In my timeline, what are your fond memories of Kathleen Kennedy as Lucasfilm boss?
Yeah, and thank you so much for the 10 euro ramen drop. As the dollar falls significantly,
Wow,
we appreciate that.
£10 equals $13.
We're doing
crazy.
Real bad over here.
Happy new Star Wars year 2026 in my timeline. What are your fond memories of Kathleen Kennedy as Lucasfilm boss? Just everything that we've gotten. Honestly.
The fact that Andor exists.
Yeah.
You know, I met Kathleen Kennedy at the premiere for Andor, and I shook her hand and I thanked her for it because I was blown away at those first, you know, because we got to see the 3 episodes there. I mean, if you guys followed us back then, you know I was not excited about that show. I was like, who asked for this? You know, like, I don't even... I mean... I know this isn't popular, but I didn't like the movie when it came out. I wasn't a big fan of Rogue One in general. And boy, was I wrong. And the way Tony Gilroy has spoken about her and her part in the process, how she did everything she could to make sure that this person's ideas and dreams could be realized. I just think that's incredible. You know, I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I don't have any singular fond memories of Kathleen Kennedy as the boss. I just know that no matter how you feel about the state of Star Wars today, there is at least one piece of media that has been great for you, whether that's Andor or Mandalorian or what have you. She's been a part of all of it, you know? And if you're one of those chuds that feels like, you know, she's to blame for everything bad, but she doesn't deserve credit for the things that are good, that you're just being dumb, you know?
Yeah. I'm also... Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say that, like, you know, Tony Gilroy speaks volumes of Kathleen Kennedy and how she enabled and fought for Andor. And then we're getting the same thing with Starfighter, which is our, you know, main talking segment, where she's giving them complete creative license because it's in a, you know, in a timeline that isn't restrained terribly by continuity. And you just have to think, like, okay, maybe I didn't like The Acolyte, or maybe I didn't like this, but everything ever since 2014 that you maybe do like, she's a part of it, you know? And yeah, we can kind of speculate if George Lucas had sold Lucasfilm and somebody else had taken over, maybe Star Wars would look different today. But that's all we know. We don't know that it would have been better or, you know, worse or brilliant, you know, on the whole.
Yeah, I mean, to add to what you just said at the end there, Kathleen Kennedy running Lucasfilm was George Lucas's requirement for the sale, right? That was what George wrote into it. A lot of people like to think that she's on the Disney side, but no, she came from the Lucasfilm side. So regardless of where Star Wars was sold, Kathleen Kennedy was going to be running it. Now, it may have looked different, and that would just mean that the upstairs bosses may have had different rules and whatnot. But the other thing that I'm grateful for is her faith and belief in Dave Filoni. And you'll see Dave Filoni also speaks very highly of her because she was his number one cheerleader. And I know a lot of us really enjoyed the Clone Wars, and we were like, man, he's the heir apparent to George Lucas. The thing is, that is the same thing as me earlier having said Iman Vellani should be a part of Marvel. She can't, right? She's written in the comics now. She's been allowed to, but she hasn't directed, or she doesn't have any of that experience needed for it, right? Dave Filoni was a guy who worked on a show. She's the one who saw him as the heir apparent, gave him his own show, and then let him be a producer, let him be above the showrunners running their shows, right? That's how he got Bad Batch and stuff like that. She sent him to go spend time with Rian Johnson on the set of Last Jedi to learn live action stuff. And then, had him and had Jon Favreau, who had the live action experience, work together on Mando. And then now he gets to do his own thing. And then she promoted him directly under her. So the entire time, his entire trajectory over this past, over a decade has been facilitated 110% by Kathleen Kennedy. Now, she's not perfect. Obviously, there was certain missteps and things. There's plenty of things I don't like, but again, you gotta game recognize game,
Yeah. And the only way that I could speculatively say that things might be completely different is if George Lucas never sold. And if he never sold, we'd be getting our first sequel movie today. Like, he was literally saying, like, it's just going to take another 10 years for me to do all this. And we wouldn't have the amount of Star Wars we have today because Lucasfilm didn't have the sizable war chest that Disney has. Or the resources, Would we see the invention of stagecraft or volume without Kathleen Kennedy bringing in Favreau?
I can tell you for a certainty we wouldn't.
But, for all of the people that blame her for everything that they hate, I'm telling you, there's something that they love in the new era of Star Wars. They just don't. They just don't want to be intellectually honest and give her credit for any of it. Like, there are people that will die on the hill that say that Kathleen Kennedy has nothing to do with Andor, but they praise Andor as being like the best Star Wars that we have. But, Tony Gilroy will tell a different story. She fought hard for Andor. She fought hard for Obi-Wan. She fought hard for a lot of the shows and movies that we've gotten. And none of it is in the writing process that people blame her for.
Yeah.
If you cried when Luke Skywalker came back in Mandalorian, then you gotta thank Kathleen Kennedy for that. She was a part of it. So, like Choco said, she's not perfect. There's missteps for sure. But as a whole, looking at everything that we've gotten thus far and everything we're about to get, she's still a part of it. Which brings us to our main segment, Starfighter. This is like a huge detail that was just nonchalantly dropped in an interview with Sean Levy, who just said Tom Cruise came by and he just wanted to see what was going on with the film. And Sean Levy was like, we're filming a lightsaber duel. Get behind the camera. And Tom Cruise wades in the water and gets behind it. Now, I have in the poll, what could this mean? Ryan Gosling is a Jedi, or there's another Jedi in the movie. But I omitted a third option because there's something else that this drop alludes to. It's a duel. Who are they fighting? Is it another Sith? Is it an acolyte of Beyond that just happened to like grab another lightsaber? This is a duel. It's not one lightsaber and then they're fighting a bunch of baddies. It's a lightsaber duel, meaning there's two lightsabers. And so whether Ryan Gosling is a Jedi or there's another Jedi, there is another opponent with a lightsaber. What do you think?
It's crazy. It just opens up so many possibilities that I really don't know how to speculate on it. To be quite frank, it's this whole time, I think a lot of us are thinking, kind of Top Gun in space or smuggler running around in space, but I mean, this is also post Tross, so are we gonna get a Sith? Are we gonna get some type of Force cult that is tertiary to Jedi and Sith? Or are we gonna get someone who's trying to become a Sith imitator? I mean, and you keep using the word Jedi, but I mean, we don't even know if don't even know that. Maybe someone is like descendant from a Jedi who had survived Order 66. Kind of like what was his name, Okar from Force Collector. We could have a situation like that, but
Okar is Nico Okar from the Old Republic. What is Karnuk?
No, I mean, I'm definitely not thinking of Nico. It's because there's two people. There's Kar
Karnuksid from Force Collector.
Okay.
Is
that what it's?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, because there's another character from Fatal Alliance whose name is similar, and
Shigar Kanshi.
Yeah.
No, I mean.
So, but I mean, like a Jedi isn't just fighting people to fight people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, are you gonna get a descendant who was like a smuggler, and maybe they get recruited into the Order? I don't know.
Well, the closest analog I can find, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Starfighter, the title alludes to a pilot.
Yeah.
And of course they can't do a direct one-to-one, but they can transplant the story. Is this the story of Corran Horn?
Yes.
Because he's the pilot, he's a Corsac pilot, but he's also he fights for the New Republic in those stories, and then studies under Luke.
So Super Rees in the chat says Starfighter is the whitest Star Wars project since the OT. With every single announcement it gets even whiter, and because of that, I feel like this is the Chad movie. It is Chad the movie, and that's what his character is. And I enjoyed those books, but literally the premise that made what's his name create the character was like, what if we mixed Han Solo and Luke Skywalker into the same character? You know what I mean? And then he just runs around, and all the women fall in love with him, and he's the best pilot, and he has the Force. And then he becomes a Jedi. Yes, this is Corran Horn, the story.
It's interesting. So if they do follow suit with this story transplant, how much of that era of Legends can be transplanted to post Tross? Is Dave gonna get Mara Jade? Is Rey going to birth Jason and Jaina? Like, this just opens up an entire world. Because I feel like everyone's wants for, like, at least an adaptation of post-return can technically be transplanted to post Rise, just with different starting points. You know what I mean? This isn't even me saying that Ryan Gosling is playing Cornhorn. What I'm saying is this is the transplanted story. And his name is like Gosshorn. Jesus Christ.
Gosshorn.
Geek of All Trades says, definitely looking forward to more Star Wars, not looking forward to the discourse that'll come with it. It's a package deal at this point. But this is why we exist, right? So you can come in here and have normal discourse. If Aaron Pierce is an alien, I'm going to riot. I don't know what he's going to be. But I don't want to put the thought into the ether that they're going to tease Aaron Pierce to be the one in this duel, and it's just Ryan Gosling. Because that would be pretty cool. I think if Aaron Pierce comes in as the one with the lightsaber. Now, you made a good point, because I don't want to like brand everyone to be a Jedi so quickly. But if this is a Cornhorn story and Ryan Gosling is just like a pilot, and then like Aaron Pierce is like, you know, a co-pilot or something, or I just don't know enough about the story to speculate even further. We just know there's a lightsaber duel, and that requires 2 lightsabers, and it's gonna be crazy. Everyone in the chat, let me know your guys' speculations as to what's happening. We have 71% voting there's another Jedi in the movie. So let me prompt you guys real quick. If there is another Jedi in the movie, who are they and what is their purpose as it relates to Ryan Gosling as like the pilot? And you can weigh in too, Choco.
Sorry, I was I missed the question.
So we have 71% in the poll saying there's another Jedi, and it's not Ryan Gosling that has the lightsaber. So
yes, I was one of those people.
If there is another Jedi in the movie, who are they? Or if there's another Force user and they have the lightsaber, who are they? And what is their relation to Ryan Gosling's character, who is the pilot? Do you think it's Rey? Like Gosling just like crash lands and then is like, oh my gosh, where did we end up? And Rey's like fighting someone's like, oh crap. It's the Skywalkers.
I like Lord Goob says broomstick kid. It's Tamari Blag.
Could be. What is this, 15 years after Rise?
And because listen, if it's depends on how Disney-fied it is, but they would make him still be a janitor. And then they like unscrews the broom.
Oh man, that would be pretty cool though.
Lightsaber.
That's cool though. Grogu? You think it's Grogu?
He could run into Grogu, you know, be saved by Grogu or something like that. I just don't.
I like that too. Older Jason Syndulla. That's another one, right? What? How old? He looks like he's like 10 in Ahsoka, right? Because it's like by the time Ahsoka is like 8, 9 ABY, and Hera was Preggers before. It was after the Battle of Endor that, like, we saw like a toddler, right, in the pilot seat at the end of Rebels. So it'd be like 5 or 6, and then by 9, it'd be like by 9 he'd be like 9 or 10, and so by the end of Tross he'd be like 40 something in their 40s. Excuse me, Din Grogu. Who's to say that Grogu is still a Mandalorian? Who's to say the Mandalorians still exist? I mean, I still in my AU, the Mandalorians are rebuilding, and they're a force to be reckoned with by that time. I really do hope that they can take that into account. I can't take another movie where the Mandalorians are just still like, you know, just kind of pick up the pieces. Like, come on now.
Oh, that's what you read. So Subaru says, I wonder if Aaron Pierce is an alien. If Aaron Pierce is an alien, I'm going to write. Listen, it's not like there's a track record of turning people of color into aliens. Not like there's, I don't know, Ula or many other Twi'leks or Ahsoka or Agent Kolar or Sashi Tin.
The Nemoidians.
All of the Nemoidians, yeah.
But hey,
Lee and Maz Kanata and but you know what? I mean,
but we got
most of that.
We got
most of that was under George, right? It's not like Disney has done that, you know. I mean, their first black princess turned into a frog. Okay. Well, but they have Pixar. Their first black character was in Soul, and he turns into a blue soul. Huh.
Listen, it's still a problem, but it's not a prevalent problem. we got Moana, and we got The Stranger and Yord. And credit where credit is due. Acolyte did make strides in diversity that was actually really good. Of course,
it's just funny to think about it that way.
Because the Chuds, man, the Chuds did that show dirty. But honestly, hey, we got Lando.
Yeah. Anyhow, no,
it's like,
I honestly,
it's like one of those things where you can't you with them you can't win, and without them you can't win, because like Kelly Marie Tran got her ass kicked when she came out, and then like, you know, with the Acolyte business and just in general, like it's not even Star Wars exclusive. You got people ragging on Ironheart and Miss Marvel and stuff. It's like,
yeah. Sorry, when people are like, well, I don't really like her because she's a criminal, and you're like,
no,
all of the Avengers are criminals.
But you also
Hawkeye
have
turned into Ronin and literally just like slaughtered hundreds of people.
But you also have the people that just don't know what they're talking about, right? Yeah. Like, I forgot his name, Eric July, who's like, he made a video.
Oh God, that dude's dumb.
He made a video on tokenism, and he was like, man, you know, we say to create original characters, but, you know, whenever we do, we have stuff like Ironheart and like, first of all, he doesn't know what a legacy character is. And yes, Ironheart is an original character. It is not. Yeah. It's not a race swap character at all. Miles Morales isn't a race swap character. It's just it's a conversation that's perpetuated by people who are just disingenuous and are grifters.
They're dumb. They're not smart. That's why they say stupid things. But Visa says, "Oh, but Captain Panaka is my favorite. I still have my Captain Panaka action figure somewhere. I love good old Quarsh. You know, it's sad he got taken out like that by Saw, but you know, Captains Panaka were great.
Bro, they were talking shit on Luke Cage. That guy's black." Like he's originally black, and they did the same thing with the Ironheart that they did with Luke Cage. Like, oh, of course there's hip hop and there's gangs. I'm like, bro, he's a street level hero in Harlem. You know, The complaints are stupid. Always stupid.
Yeah. Anyhow, but Star Wars is good. You're right.
Yeah.
They don't know ball. No, I am excited though for the future of things in Star Wars. Starfighter is still not my most anticipated project, but the thought that it could have some cool, new, interesting Force nuggets does tickle my taint a little bit. And
don't say Force nuggets and taint in the same thought, dude.
I almost feel like this is a trial project to try to satisfy the chuds in a way, but also try to make everyone happy. And
they're still not happy, bro.
No, they I mean, they won't be. Then they can't be. But I feel like this is an attempt to like feed them something so that everyone can get something. But I don't know. I think they're gonna.
No,
I think they're gonna be disappointed in the outcome overall. But we'll
Starfighter,
see.
just like Rui said, Starfighter is the whitest project it's been. They're still complaining because Gosling was in Barbie. They're making these like 6 degrees from Kevin. No, they're making. I know they're making these 6 degrees from Kevin Bacon arguments where he was in the woke Barbie, and so this is gonna be. It's not gonna be a white man thing. It's gonna be a woke white man. Like they're not gonna be happy either way. They scream diversity when they see a black person, and when they see a white person, that white person's hung out with black people. I don't know. They're gonna complain. Not to like throw anyone under the bus, but I do have a bone to pick with John Boyega, because this clip is making his rounds once again, and I do just want to clarify for the record. And it's this one.
In the latest Rise of Skywalker clip released, the group realizes that the stormtroopers have jetpacks and can fly now. What was your first reaction upon seeing that?
They fly now.
He forgot. But what if that was the first time they used them?
They've been using them since the Clone Wars.
And everyone's praising John Boyega because he knows ball, but he doesn't. Sorry, he doesn't.
That clip literally shows that he doesn't know ball.
So, the first thing I will say to that is, neither Finn or Poe Dameron have watched Star Wars before. And jump troopers were not seen in the original trilogy. They definitely weren't seen in the prequels. And the Rise of Skywalker is the first on-screen depiction of First Order troopers using jetpacks. And Oscar Isaac is in the right there. It's the first time that they're using them. And he makes the notion that they've been using them since the Clone Wars. Like, number one, in universe, Finn or Poe were born after the Clone Wars, and number two, out of universe, they're not watching the shows or the movies. Like, the characters aren't watching the movies with us. They're not born with the knowledge we have.
Also, it's just kind of a weird. I mean, the whole thing like hurts my head because, like, okay, let's say you and I were being pursued by the Chuds or whatever.
Yeah.
And then one of the times they chase us, they all have swords, and then I'd be like, they have swords now? Like, I'm not saying they invented the sword, right? I'm saying this group that's pursuing us usually doesn't have this thing, and now they do. Like, I don't understand what the gotcha is. You know what I mean? Like,
it shouldn't be a gotcha.
If they have been being pursued, because even the First Order as a whole it doesn't even matter if they've used them as a whole before. What we need to understand is like they've been being pursued by these people for the past year, and then now they are showing that they fly. I don't know. I don't get what the.
So
I don't know what
Nemo
the complaint is.
Nemo says, I'd argue Finn should know about jet troopers, but if the film is trying to state they didn't start until after he left, then sure. Which is the thing, because in universe, Finn is a janitor. The mission to Jakku was his first mission. And that was his first time. And so after that mission he leaves. So he doesn't have much, like, he hasn't seen the most of the machine that is the First Order. You know?
I mean, it's even more than that. The First Order had expanded and changed dramatically since that day. You know, and I don't. It's very strange because like even after that, when you're playing Battlefront 2, it was after that we got the jet troopers for the First Order. You know, like we hadn't seen them. Now I believe you see people using a jetpack in one of the in one of the comics.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking
potentially. So that would be the only argument, but again, they weren't together and being pursued. I don't know. I think it's very weak.
It's a dumb line. To be as charitable as possible, it's a dumb line. But it's not it's not like it doesn't make sense. As Nemo says, 3PO says the line first, and I feel like it is just an allusion to the fact that they're being chased on ground. And when they find a way to curtail that ground pursuit and they start flying, 3PO's like, oh, they fly now. So it's not even like they've never flown before, but now they fly now. It's like, oh, they're flying now. Right? So it's just one of those like critiques that I'm like, whatever. It's a dialogue that doesn't ruin the movie. But those people will just latch on to anything.
Yeah, I don't know, and it's like, and I don't like that movie, but like that.
That's not one of my critiques.
Like, yeah,
our critiques have to do with its pacing, its execution. You know, it's storytelling, and when people have to latch on to shit like that to justify it. It tells me that their understanding of film is paper thin. Did I just... Is that Amberlynn? Paper thin him? But there's so many other problems with trust, but everyone cries about somehow flying his return now. Yeah. That's the way it is.
Geek of All Trades 8 says, I do have a quick question. I was reading through comments of another video defending The Last Jedi. They got to Holdo. Some random guy brought up how she having purple hair goes against established rules. Wait, what? Oh, like no zippers, no buttons, no glasses, etc.
Wait, what?
I mean, if that's what they said, it's an idiotic complaint because those rules have always been broken and flounced and whatever. Like, yeah, there's supposed to be no zippers, but we do see them, and I mean, they really just don't want them visually seen. But yeah, we do see them on Luke's flight suit, for instance. You know, we have. Yeah, so George Lucas had some rules. Yeah, and some of these things were rules from George Lucas. One of George Lucas's rules was that Wookiees are not force sensitive. That you can't have force sensitive Wookiees. There was literally concept art of a badass like Wookiee Jedi for the prequels that George Lucas shot down for that. But George Lucas also put one in the Clone Wars, and then now we've established that it's rare in their species, but it certainly happens. And now we understand that it actually makes sense that their species are because of how they commune with nature and how naturally communal they are as a people. So I don't know. It's just a really dumb thing. But no, there's no rule against people having purple hair. That's dumb. That's never been stated anywhere. I would just say, you're gonna have to give me a source on that, because that person is there's probably some chud somewhere who was like, "Oh, purple hair isn't canon," and then someone else saw that and they're like, "Yeah, you're not supposed to have purple," and it became a game of telephone. In my mind, that's how it got to that point. But no, there's no rule about. There's never been any rules that I've seen anywhere stated about hair color.
No, there's nothing like that. And I do remember where the no zippers, no buttons, no glasses comes from. It's an interview that they did with one of the actors of Andor. And they were talking about how careful they are when they're filming. And there's certain filmmaking rules that they follow. Like they can't one of the rules wasn't no glasses. One of the rules was they cannot film through glass. They cannot penetrate glass. Like they cannot go from an outside a window and morph into the glass through a window. There's also another rule. There's no buttons and no zippers. But that is a filmmaking rule in which that stuff should not be visually apparent. It's not a rule that it doesn't exist. And this is why Cyril Karn's tie is the way it is.
Yeah, his tie sucks and I hate it. I'm mad now that you brought it up.
They adhere to filmmaking rules, but it is not a rule of the universe, of the galaxy.
But also, you mentioned even if you say there was no glasses allowed, right? Well, we've seen glasses from Dr. What's-His-Face Dr. Pershing has them in Mando, but also there's the crazy doctor from the Clone Wars with the blue shadow virus. He also has glasses, and we also know people have goggles, which are a form of glasses. You know what I mean? So even if that were a rule, it would still be,
And we all know, just by virtue of history, George Lucas has broken his own rules. Rules are meant to be broken. That's all.
Yeah, and so some things I don't like to think of them as his rules, but I do like to talk about his stated intentions with things. You know what I mean? Yes, Dr. Nuvo Vendi. I couldn't think of his name. Thank you.
Yeah, that's the guy that. Was that the first time we saw the female Gungan? That arc?
No, he
Peepo?
releases the blue shadow virus and then and gets Padme sick, and then Ahsoka gets sick and has to escape and have to find a cure. Jar Jar's girlfriend was not the same species as him.
No. There is a female Gungan in that arc.
Oh, okay.
Not
Then
Jar
I don't
Jar's.
recall.
I'm trying to
not the
remember
queen,
their name. It was like a name that was similar to mine. It was like Peepo. Hold on.
People.
She had like a straw cone hat. And she helped them find his secret base.
Oh, yeah, her beasts die from the virus in the water. Peepo, Peppy.
Was it? Was it Peepo?
Dr. Peepee.
Hold on. Was it Peepo or Peppy? Or is it Peepo Peppy? Peppy Bo? That sounds familiar. Hold on. Yeah, it was Peppy Bo. Yeah, she had a conical hat. Man, coming in clutch, Gage.
That's why I love this this community, because like y'all know your stuff. So even though I sometimes don't remember stuff, y'all always there. But now I'm trying to remember who Dr. Pee-Pee was. I think that's a Smash Brothers player. Did anyone play competitive Smash Brothers? Do you remember Dr. Pee-Pee?
Hemi D-Man coming in, popping in to say hi. Hope you guys are doing well. Appreciate you, Hemi.
Hey, Hemi the man. It's been a while since we talked. Good to see you.
Doesn't Wim's dad have glass? Yeah, he does. They only remember these supposed rules when they want to, knock on something.
Yeah, but like my thing is like, what is the intention behind the rule? And then because you can absolutely break these rules. I just want to know what is the intention behind having it, and the reason for breaking it. You know what I mean? Like let's say that was a hard and fast rule of no glasses, right? Well, you could be like, well, this planet has kind of grown separate from the rest of the galaxy because they were sequestered on this one location and locked in. They developed differently. That's why they'll have different stuff here. And that actually helps.
Yeah. There could be a planet that has buttons on their clothes. I think, most of these rules were filmmaking rules, but I also think that some of it is like Imperial stuff too, like rules for Imperials. Because I'm pretty sure there's somewhere in Star Wars where someone had a button. When Luke's shirt has that flap. What is it? When you bring that flap back up, what does it go into? There's no thing there.
Yeah.
Gage is with me. It's exactly what I meant, Craig. Thank you.
Okay, so it was bothering me, so I had to look it up. But yes, Dr. Pee-Pee is a professional or was a professional Super Smash Brothers player. I used to play competitive PM or Project Melee, and that's what he played. But people didn't like his name, so he went by PPMD.
Oh, which is even better.
Yeah.
Kanioye says, what would your fantasy character for Tom Cruise be? Or what would your fantasy character be for Tom Cruise in a Star Wars project? I like him when he's a villain, honestly. Which didn't happen very much. I think he was the villain in Tropic Thunder. But to me, he screams no, I guess I can't put him in the Empire. He's too leather jacket wearing rebel. I think he's like not to be ordinary about it. I think he's a smuggler, to be honest.
I mean, I agree. Make him a villain. And I mean, what I want to see. I mean, I love Tom Cruise and the way he does, hit these epic stunts and all this stuff. But by the way, I like to point out that Mission Impossible writes its movies backwards. Tom Cruise says what stunts he wants to do, and then he films those stunts, and then they write a story to connect them. That's literally how they wrote it. And Haley Atwell talked about being a passenger in an epic car chase, and she literally didn't know her own character's name. I just think that's funny. So I think we need to add that. But he does these amazing and epic stunts. He's always like running away from. I want him to be chasing our hero. I want him to be this unstoppable tracker that they're like, this guy won't leave us alone. You know what I mean? Like, like you're trying to run away from this guy. You get on the elevator and then he's climbing up outside of it. You know, he's running on the roof. Like, I would love him to be his thing of being, you know, this unstoppable guy who runs by karate chopping the air. I want to see them use that against us.
What I want is, no matter what Tom Cruise plays, whether it's a pirate, bounty hunter, or chasing, I want him to wear a mask so that whenever he does do the face reveal, he gets to do his Tom Cruise. What I mean by that is he takes off the mask, looks into the camera and goes like this, and has that intense look. Yeah, I captured you. You know what I mean? I don't have a Tom Cruise, but that face is always, yeah.
It's like he's out of breath every time he takes off a mask. I'd be into it. You know, speaking of Tom Cruise, we just watched a movie called Legend for my first time seeing it, and that starred a very, very young Tom Cruise.
He had a lot of that.
Weird.
He had a lot of Tom Cruise face in that one as well.
Yeah.
He was Mary Sue.
He was funny. Is he like he wasn't? He was a Mary Sue and he wasn't, because he never got good at anything. Just everyone else was terrible at everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He couldn't fight, but he still was infinitely better than they were. It was great.
It's like, I know of a place that has legendary armor and weapons. And he's like, weapons? I know nothing of weapons. And then, like, he brandishes, you know, the Perseus gear as if he's going to go off on an adventure. Don't want to spoil Legend if anybody wants to see it, but yeah. Are we just going to ignore connecting Tom Cruise's piloting skills to him being a starfighter pilot? Bro, that would be the lowest hanging fruit. Like, he's just like, he's like Ryan Gosling's instructor. he's just Maverick in Top Gun Maverick. That would be cool if, like, the premise of the movie is just like him instructing Ryan Gosling to be a pilot, and then at the end, like, Ryan Gosling, not at the end, but it's revealed that Ryan Gosling's character has, like, force sensitivity, and so, like, Tom Cruise as his instructor finds out, and so he takes him out to, like, this abandoned flight course, and then at the end of it, he's like, very good, you did well. He takes out his lightsaber, but I can't let you live. And then that's the lightsaber duel. Jesus. Where does Gosling find his lightsaber? I don't know. Maybe Tom Cruise fights Rey. Rey just drops in. Intercepts Tom Cruise's lightsaber in front of Gosling, and it goes na 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 na. And then Ryan Gosling says, Martha, why did you say that name?
God, I love movies. Now I'm just thinking of when in Mission Impossible, when Henry Cavill reloads his arms and it makes him grow a beard.
Oh man, yeah.
He reloads his arms and then grows a beard. And it's the greatest thing.
What was the official explanation for that in the behinds?
In the behind the scenes, he did it once and felt stupid. And they're like, no, man, that was badass. Do it again. And they had him do it over and over again. And I guess they used part of it from one day and part of it from a different day. So he had more facial hair on the other day. So if you watch it in slow motion, his beard, he grows like 3 days of beard when he reloads his arms. And his shirt grows a pocket too. It's
there's this one clip that made me laugh hysterically. There was I forget who, but it was a chud that was like commenting about like, you know, how men used to be in films. But he was being reacted to by another creator that, not another creator, he was being reacted to, or the food video was being shown to an MMA fighter. And the chud's like, when he reloads, does that, he's like, man, that's how you know they're a fighter. And then the MMA guy's like, we don't do that. We don't load our arms. I was like,
I listen, I unapologetically love that scene. It makes me smile every time. It's like when you're playing a melee character in Rivals, and like like you're playing Groot and you run out of punch, and so you have to go and reload punch.
oh yeah. Nah, but like, I think they equate it to, because the fighter was like, well, what we do is when we limber up, we do this, like, you know. But like they never start a fight.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like Nemo says, he's getting loose in the sleeves, right? Because you're fighting you're wearing a long sleeve shirt, and I don't know if you wear a lot of long sleeve shirts. I do. They are cumbersome. But like, I don't know. It's the same thing with in Revenge of the Sith when Obi-Wan and Anakin are just Obi-Wanning at each other.
Yeah.
And I remember people in the comments going, "Oh no, it's called a circle parry," and I'm like, "No, it's not." Oh my god, it's just a thing that they did, and it looked cool in the movie, and I like it, and it's fun. Does it make sense? No, it doesn't.
There were also the people,
there
were also the people that were saying that that's Anakin and Obi-Wan showing that they know each other so much that they're just standing there. And they're like, "What is he going to do next?" So they do the same moves. Like, no. It just looked cool. That's all. Come on, guys. Things can be filmed to look cool. That's it.
No, it's I do kind of like, I partially like that explanation, because my mind goes into the Sherlock Holmes movies with Iron Man.
Oh, Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah. You remember his Sherlock movies?
Yeah.
When he's like going to fight someone, and he's like, first I'll hit their jaw, and then I'll do this, and then do this, and do that. And then like in the final one, he went up against his Moriarty, and then that person was also doing it back. And so they had like that, like, it does help me to pretend that that's what's happening to each other in that moment. But I know it's not. It's just not, and that's okay.
I mean, it's not helped by the fact, but that the move that they both choose to do still kind of clashes, and then they end up going into a force battle. So it's like, what movie's gonna do? Nemo says, "Emma Frost reloads her mind."
She reloads her mind. Yeah,
hold on.
Yeah,
it's like,
listen, it's a real thing though. It's like when you concentrate for too long, and so you gotta doom scroll for like 3 minutes. Gotta watch a cat video to reset.
Does Gambit have to reload in Rivals?
Yeah, he can only throw so many before.
I suppose,
but that makes sense. Like he's pulling out a new deck of cards or something,
or not a new deck, but like he fans like 6 cards and just and takes out another. I also remember as part of like the stuff that fans like to do with the in-universe explanations is that they tried to make it seem like Gambit had an elven quiver. You know how Legolas doesn't run out of arrows? So they're like, Gambit has an unlimited supply of cards. But I distinctly remember in the cartoon when he ran out of cards. He's like, God damn it.
Yeah, and didn't he start throwing nuts and bolts and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, in that arc, he was it was Genosha, and he didn't have his cards.
By the way, does it bother anyone else when on Marvel Rivals Obi-Wan, because that's such a weird voice for Magneto, but he says Genosha, and I'm like, I've never heard it. That's so weird. Didn't you name the place? That's weird. Why are you saying it wrong? I don't know.
I grew up with the cartoon that called it Genosha, so obviously when things are written in paper, we go with like the next best thing that happens when it's voiced. Yeah. Wasn't Seleucami something else? Also in one of the audio books.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of things were, and my favorite example is Coruscant.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was thinking about it like this: if Gambit ever runs out of things, he can pick something up, explode it, and then take the pieces from that thing and then throw them. I think that's cool.
Yeah. Can't he also just shoot beams?
Depending on the iteration, but no, not regularly.
I remember in the comic when they were in the danger room, things were closing in, and Jean was doing a beam with this, and Cyclops was using his concussive blast, and Gambit was just out there like this, zzz, with like a sparkly beam. I was like, okay, he can shoot a beam from his arm, I guess.
I don't know, but I don't know. Maybe they did an iteration where he could energize particles in the air or something. I don't know.
I know Newson could do that.
Gavin Newsom?
What? No, Newson Gambit.
Oh.
Like he could literally take the kinetic energy in the particles.
Yeah. Sorry, you said Newson in one word, and it threw my brain to a different topic. Yeah. Also, Age of Apocalypse, Gambit would like blow up stuff while he's asleep.
Yeah.
On accident. That's why he went to go get his powers reduced for a second time. Yeah.
He imbues energy to any object. Technically speaking, he takes its kinetic energy or its potential energy and draws it out. And quite frankly, from a physics perspective, anything has infinite amounts of potential energy.
Yeah.
That's why when people talk about Magneto's powers of the master of electromagnetism, I'm like,
not everything is. Yeah.
But also, like, if we're going into electromagnetic fields, like, he's also infinitely OP. Like, what kind of explanation are we going to adhere to?
I always wanted. I know this is gonna sound stupid, but okay. So Gambit takes all of the potential energy in an object and turns it into kinetic energy, and can even use that to, he typically makes things explode, but he can make things move and stuff like that.
Yeah, he uses it on his own body when he does Savat.
It makes me want to have him take his staff and ride it like a witch's broom. Because he could, right?
He could, yes.
He could just keep going.
No, because he does
ride it through the sky.
Because he does normally store potential energy at the tips, right?
Yeah,
so he
you
could
hit things and make it explode. But
he could hit it on the ground, explode, and give that initial propulsion, but then also still make it explode while he's in the air.
it would be amazing to have him. Where's Gambit? There he is, and it's just like.
All right, this is a fun bonus prompt for the chat and for Choco. Going off of your most.
Gambit is not Omega level. Just only in the alternate universe when he goes by New Sun is he Omega level.
Going off of your most rudimentary understanding of physics or science, whose power set should technically be the most OP ever?
Oh, that's easy.
We'll give everyone some time to think about it because there's a lot of like powers in the comics, particularly from the mutants. Because I do think Bishop has one of them. Not
Yeah.
Bishop. No, sorry. Is it Bishop? The one that absorbs energy?
Bishop absorbs energy and can shoot energy beams and can reload his stamina with energy that he absorbed.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about him in an earthquake.
So that's what I was thinking, Nemo.
Iceman, really?
Iceman's powers are redonkulous. Plastic Man is DC, but yeah, Plastic Man is like the god of the DC universe in a way.
So
There's
what
still
is
one below all, but
what is Iceman's super potential?
I mean, he could very easily destroy the Earth if he wanted to. He's also
Like
immortal.
Ice Age Earth?
There's no upper limit to how much ice he could produce or how. I mean, the only limit that he has is absolute zero, where there's no molecular movement at all. But like, he also can't die. He can reform himself from ice, so he can turn into ice. You know, what I mean, his power set does limit him to a planet because he can't really just fly out to another planet, but like his potential is absolutely crazy.
Makes me think of Hitsugaya from Bleach. I don't know if you finished the manga or the because his true form can literally freeze atoms, to which it's like absolute zero.
Yeah, and yeah, so that's exactly what Iceman can do. And like he says, like he turns his body into ice, and then you cut off his arm, and he just replaces his arm with more ice that he created from molecules in the air.
Okay. But let's get a little bit more esoteric here. Like
Okay.
someone's power set that, as it's used in the comics, as it's used normally, doesn't feel very dangerous. But like if you go into the science of it, you know, because Gambit isn't Omega level, but just using the term bringing out potential energy and things have limitless potential. Like you could write a scenario where he just takes the potential energy of the Earth itself. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
So what can we get from this?
And that being said, I mean, the like you mentioned, New Sun, that iteration of Gambit is the same Gambit if he didn't have his powers reduced. So the Gambit that we know and love had his powers reduced by Mr. Sinister,
Yeah.
before we ever meet him in the comics. So like, yeah.
Also, Nemo said Iceman confirmed to beat Superman based on what Superman says in DC KO. What does he say about Iceman, Nemo?
I haven't read DC KO. Is it any good? I mean, it's still going on right now. Darwin. Oh God, yeah. Darwin's power is. Yeah.
Man, Darwin got by an. I'm just kidding. We're not gonna talk about first class Darwin. I was about to say Darwin got by an aquarium. I'm just kidding. Sebastian Shaw. I mean, yeah. I mean, how canonical is his depiction in First Class, where he can absorb the energy of a nuclear fusion?
I don't recall. I actually don't know a whole lot about Sebastian Shaw. But okay, I'll have to read KO. Maybe I'll read it tomorrow. I'm hearing that DC Comics is an amazing place right now.
Superman goes to a super cold location in one of his fights and says that he couldn't survive there, but since he is durable, he could outlast his opponent. So if he doesn't beat Iceman immediately and Iceman goes absolute zero, eventually Superman would lose.
Okay.
Well, that's interesting to think about, because Iceman can do that with the presence of a sun still, right? So, like, the sun is still there, but he can cause, like, cold snap on Earth.
Yeah. Okay, so there's a character, and I can't recall if she's X-Men or Excalibur. Which, by the way, Excalibur is cool, but we just don't ever talk about it. Iska. Iska has the most broken power of all time.
What's this?
I want you to look up her power right now. I want to see her face when you say it. It's Isca. That's her name. And read her power to the chat.
If I have this correct, she has the inability to lose.
Yeah, that's her power. She can't lose.
So, like, is it almost like fate or something? Like, it just whatever happens.
So is Iska the right? Iska's power is she only rolls nat 20s. It is basically how you could describe it. So whatever the optimal outcome is, but it has to be versus someone or something. Like it has to be against something.
It has to be a win-lose scenario.
Yes. So you have to. So you can beat her by making it not a win-lose thing. She is an X-Men. She is in X-Men. I don't believe she ever is an X-Men.
That makes me think of Domino. Because, like, what are the upper limits of luck? And does it always work?
No, so their luck doesn't always work, but there is no upper limit. Yeah.
Could you make a scenario where Iska wins requiring her to sacrifice herself?
Yeah, that's the really...
Well, I can
It's almost
quickly
this-
think of a scenario where in a fight between me and Iska, her losing would mean dying, or her winning against me would mean dying. I would just need to kind of write it out and flesh it out.
Yeah.
Like if you
yeah,
tethered
she-
her life, if you tethered the life force to her, how could she would win the fight, but by my dying and our life forces being tethered, essentially. That's what I could think of.
Kakuzo. Okay. Yeah, she was brought into the comics in the whole Krakoa versus Arrakis. Wait.
Arrakis is Dune.
Arako. Yeah, thing.
What about bro from ReZero?
That dude loses on a daily basis. He just gets to retry until somehow he might make it. I do enjoy some ReZero. Sometimes there was one of the arcs that just went on way too long and got really weird, but good show overall.
Nemo says Squirrel Girl. I'm only aware of how Squirrel Girl just so happens to beat Thanos, but is her power set?
No. No, and her power set is also very weak. It's just she goes by the unbeatable Squirrel Girl, but that has nothing to do with her powers.
Because there's also Mimic, right? Is there an upper ceiling to Mimic?
Longshot has insane luck. Yeah, that's true. Oh, will we get some Yoda's Hut live streams in 2026?
Yeah. We have some day one game streams planned for this year. I might bring it back for just playing Where Winds Meet as well. Just not in the immediate future, but it'll come back.
But as far as a character with the largest gulf between what they actually do and what they could do, I feel like there's two true answers, right? Because I mean, I do think Iceman is crazy OP, but he also is very, very, very strong. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest gulf has to be Electro. In no world should Spider-Man ever beat Electro. It doesn't make any sense at all. He's just a really dumb person with one of the most powerful power sets ever.
Explain it to me like I'm 5.
Electro is living electricity. He is one of the, he can be one of our fundamental forces. You know what I mean? He can absorb unlimited energy, and he can turn into energy. And so yeah, his Spider-Man makes his webbing and insulate her, but there is very much an upper limit to how much insulation you can survive electricity of straight up bolts of lightning. Anything that you have that is electronic, he can wield, he can travel into and out of. I don't know.
Yeah, I could see that. I laughed at Craig saying maybe Choco can do some Chewie's Tree gaming streams. Nah, what would your... Because Choco's Mace.
Cable without the technovirus. I mean, we already have that. And he is called... that. Nate Gray.
Nate Summers?
X-Man. Yeah, well, he was a villain. And his name was Strife? Is it Strife?
I think so. What would the equivalent for Mace Windu's homeworld be? He's from Harun. Call.
Yeah, so Strife is a mutant clone of Nathan Summers. Nathan Summers is Cable. So Strife is is Cable without the techno-organic virus.
What would be the equivalent for Mace Windu's homeworld be? And he was at Harlem.
God damn it. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, your game stream would be called Choco's Haroom Call.
Do you think? Oh God, sorry. Now it's making me mad that book takes. It's like we're gonna go to my home world, the jungle. Uncle Ruckus ass, like, come on, man. Do you think PlayStation Miles Morales could beat Electro? I think he would. Yeah, he would beat the character Electro easily. But I'm saying if a intelligent person had Electro's powers, no. No, not at all.
There's another electricity based character. I'm not trying to make a joke. Is Electro the most powerful based on power set for electricity based?
For electricity based power, I mean, yeah, I'd argue that.
That's going to be an OnlyFans charge, sir.
Hey,
yo,
appreciate you, Kyle.
Hold on.
That's going to be an OnlyFans charge, sir. That's going to be an OnlyFans charge, sir.
Yeah, we're going to get a lot of OnlyFans charges. Shout out to Cal for our senior correspondent to the stars for
That's
5
gonna be an OnlyFans
gift
charge, sir.
memberships. Guys, enjoy those memberships. Join us for After Dark. That's our little
That's
gift to you
gonna be an
guys.
OnlyFans charge, sir.
Appreciate you, Cal.
But yeah, in terms of actual power that you can generate, especially with electricity, the Thor would be above him, and also Storm would be above him. But like, he also is electricity, too. So like, Thor has God energy, and that's what I mean. Because Thor can channel his energy into whatever he needs, including his lightning, and so Thor has his cosmic energy, and he has access to the Odin Force, and eventually he has access to the Thor Force, and then you're just like, okay, all right, just stop it, bro. You need to calm down.
I think I know who beats Electro though. Luffy. Especially Nika.
Yeah.
Cause like Nika, Electro just turns himself into electricity, and Nika comes in and touches him and turns it into a rubber lightning bolt.
No, he well, I was even thinking way earlier than that, because you know, like the first person he fights is someone who had the lightning fruit or whatever on Sky Island.
I forget his name.
Yeah, but like that, so that guy is basically Electro. You know what I mean? Where you're like, how do you hit this guy? How does a regular person hit him? You should never be able to.
And then they invented hockey.
Same thing with the Flash. The Flash should never be hit. Ever.
Also, I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like the Flash should be able to KO Superman.
I mean, an infinite mass punch is that. So
He should be able to knock him out, right? Even if he doesn't like have the power to like destroy Superman. I feel like an infinite mass punch would, cause like Superman's durable, but is his organs also durable?
Yes, his organs are also durable.
That doesn't protect him from a concussion, though. Like an infinite mass punch that causes his brain to like causes his brain to like vibrate like exponentially inside his skull.
No, but I think Superman's brain is also durable. You know what I mean? Like Luke Cage has the unbreakable skin, but he still has organs and stuff like that, and that's why, you know, you could poison him or whatever. He still has regular human organs inside, but like Superman doesn't.
Yeah, Superman represents. I mean, I love the character, but Superman represents everything I hate about writing when it comes to, like, you know, characters that literally have an answer for everything, and their weakness is something external. Who wins? The Rock's Black Adam or Electro? Speaking of Luffy, is there a Rubber Man in the comics?
I mean, Rubber Man. I mean, my mind just goes straight to Plastic Man.
Elongated Man. Mr. Fantastic kinda is Mr. Fantastic rubber, or is it just stretchy?
He's just stretchy. But I mean, it's kind of rubber. I mean, he uses it as rubber. I do, man. Like when Mr. Fantastic came into Marvel Rivals, people kept comparing him to Luffy, and it was the dumbest comparison of all time. They were saying that they stole Luffy's Gear 3. And I'm like, what? So what you're saying is you just haven't watched One Piece.
How is that?
Nothing he does is anything related to Bounce Man.
Oh no, not at all.
Not even close. Like it's.
He also has different Gear 3s.
Yeah, Bounce Man, Snake Man, the other one.
It was the Boar one.
Yeah.
But even then, like again, just like you said, it's not the same.
Yeah, I would also love a Luffy themed skin for Mr. Fantastic. That would be really cool. And even like the artist behind it, they actually drew him as in the like stance for Bounce Man, just because they had a similar, outline. But like using it to hate on this thing because they stole it from this is just really dumb. That just wasn't the thing.
It's also a supreme misunderstanding of Luffy. Luffy isn't a stretchy character. Luffy is rubber. He's a gum fruit. He just does stretch moves. But like you said, if you go Bounce Man, if you go if you even go Gear 4 or Gear 5, it's not stretchy. Like Gear 5 is him turning everything into rubber, and he just kind of like, takes advantage of that world altering effect. But Bounce Man, he doesn't. It's not stretchy in the same way as Mr. Fantastic. It's what are those called? It's almost the same as like Darkseid's lasers, like the way he's using his arms.
Omega beams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the point of Luffy isn't that he's a stretchy character. It's just rubber. So in that sense,
Yeah, he
he's
doesn't.
not even the same.
He doesn't
as
have a.
Fantastic.
It's not a base. This is the amount of mass that we're dealing with. Yeah.
Would you guys take a Star Wars Marvel Rivals and don't say we technically kind of do with Battlefront? No? So are you saying would we take a Star Wars themed Marvel Rivals game? The question is how do you design power sets around that? Because everyone has the power of the Force, considering who you use as characters. It's not like everyone has different ability sets. I mean, you could probably give them toolkits that are like their affinities, but it's still not like a wide-ranging power set like Marvel heroes. You'd have to give people their Force specialties, but again, like, to me, that doesn't manifest in the way that, in the variety that we have in current Rivals with the power sets everyone else has, because with Force users, they're all drawing from the Force, right? I don't know. I feel like it's a different game, and it doesn't work as a Rivals game. Because also Rivals has horrible melee combat.
That's true. It's not. Well, it's gotten better.
Hack and slash. I'm just thinking about, the delta between lightsaber duels and powers and all of the ridiculous abilities that Marvel characters have. Because you take away the Force, then they're fighting with lightsabers. So we need a really good melee combat. So it's not Rivals at that point. Nima says, I need them to make Masters of Cherascasi.
I did love that game, and always will. So from what you said about Superman is earlier about it's something you dislike in writing. I was looking for a very specific thing, and I'll send it to you because I did find it online. Superman can be written incredibly boring, and I was someone who until 3 years ago hated Superman because he was such a boring character. So the one story in particular I'm thinking of that, like, I went onto a friend's podcast, and we were talking about Jeff Loeb, and Jeff Loeb. There's one Superman story called Sam's Story.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta get you to read Sam's story. Basically, Jeff Loeb, the writer, his son died of cancer when he was 17, and so so he wrote this Superman comic, like for that, and it's just a really powerful story, and I think you would like it a lot. But also, like, Superman battles the Klan. Superman is the original One Punch Man.
Mm-hmm.
In his writing, where you can write it to be incredibly boring, or you can write it to tell stories outside of This Is How Strong I Am.
Yeah, and that's the stuff
And
that
if
I
you-
love.
Yeah.
Like,
But if you do want the This Is How Strong I Am, then you read the stuff where he's not on Earth.
it's like Cal said, I hated Superman until the most recent movie. Now I'm sold. And my favorite stuff about the Superman movie is, when he's vulnerable. It's just that when we talk about, like, it always stems from a versus talk. It really does. Same thing with Batman. I love Batman, but when it comes to versus talk, people people will get really dumb with it. And so when we talk about versus, you always have to account for, well, Superman is just invincible. His lungs are invincible, even though he coughs with poison gas. His brain is invincible. He doesn't have concussions, even though he gets knocked out. So, like, that stuff when he's vulnerable, when he's dealing with more introspective problems and conflicts, that's the stuff that I love about Superman. And that's why I love James Gunn's Superman movie, because, it wasn't about his power.
Yeah. Which coincidentally was what most people, was what some people hated about it.
Oh, he saved the kid. Like, oh, that's so woke. Skid on TikTok says, "Ayo, we talking about how boring Paragon characters can be. Superman and Optimus Prime exist in the same headspace for me, so it's either it can be boring or it can be the ultimate goal of humanity because it portrays the best of humanity." That's true. Superman's not human. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I'm being difficult. Yeah, I mean,
Listen, I need. Okay, so we got Superman Battles the Clan, which is one of the greatest stories ever. I need a Superman Battles Ice.
yes.
Come on,
Please.
man, give it to us, please.
Thank you for the rose and finger heart and the dolphins as well, Skid. Appreciate you.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Just read any Superman story where he isn't on Earth. I would read a Superman story where he's kind of like the Woman of Tomorrow, where he kind of just goes to a planet with a red sun, and he's just normal.
Yeah, Superman has gotten between police and people several times. Oh yeah, I mean, listen, the original Superman was created to be like the hero of the working class. I mean, he's literally just Moses. He's just Moses. And
He punches Nazis.
yeah, but like when you read the old books, he would fight unethical bosses who run the mill and were bad to their workers. He would fight people who were trying to break up unions. like he was super. It was crazy, He'd be like, "Oh, you're don't have humane conditions in this mine for the workers," and so he'd beat up the owner. Like that. That's what Superman always was, And there's a reason that his greatest enemy is this evil billionaire who uses his money and power to rule things or to do all this stuff, and that there's a reason why they are at odds with each other. It's because Lex's position is ultimately against, requires at that level of money and power, you have to exploit people in order to get to that position, and that's why he's always going to be the enemy of the working person,
This is inadvertently turned into a Superman Glaze podcast.
Which is weird because I'm new on the Superman train relatively. I got on like I said 3 years ago after going on a friend's podcast, but Superman's arch enemy literally is capitalism. That's actually true. Man,
Nah, but to them, Superman is this.
and
Reloading arms.
what was it? You know, at one point, I mean, at one point in the comics, Lex does become president, but in it's Young Justice, I think it is, when they think he's going to run to be president, and he laughs. He's like, "Do you know how much power I would have to lose to become president?" And you're like, "God damn."
Although, correct me if I'm wrong, but Lex would punch a Nazi.
If he could profit off him, I don't think he would. I'm not gonna lie.
Skid
Let's
says.
see here.
Skid says, "Listen, Superman as a meta narrative icon is supposed to be the guy who beats up ICE. Like, this is going to be political, but Superman would punch the Gestapo, and like ICE ain't far off. No, ICE is Gestapo right now.
There's zero difference. The only difference is the target of people that they are allowed to take right now, but that's literally the only difference.
All right. As an extension of our previous prompt, just to kind of wrap things up, who is the most unlikely person that could whoop Superman based on their power set? Like, I don't want you to bring out like, oh, there's this man one above all. No, just like our discussion with like esoteric power sets, like technically being underutilized. Who has a power set that's like fucking stupid as hell, but like it would KO Superman pretty hard, heavily. No. I mean, and Cal, I accept that Sailor Moon would destroy Superman. You won't get any arguments from me, but I'm talking about like super like really weird power set that like under any circumstance would be considered pretty weak, but like if you do the mental gymnastics would whop Superman.
There's only one correct answer to this question, and it's Rattata.
Rattata frittata? I'm unfamiliar.
Rattata, the Pokemon.
Explain. I'm only laughing because you said the Pokemon. I don't know who Rattata is.
No, I'm serious. Rattata, the Pokemon.
Wait,
the
like
little
rat?
the little
the
rat?
rat?
Yeah. That rat could beat Superman.
Still explain.
Yep. Cal knows. It's called the fear method. And so it's you have an item called a focus sash, and what happens is you have guaranteed survival, but you would be at 1 HP, right? So it's focus sash, endeavor, and then quick attack. So basically you get hit, you survive the hit, but you buff up your stats to take what the hit and send it back at them, essentially, but more powerful, and do it with quick attack, so it's too fast for them to respond to.
So you're telling me they tank a punch from Superman. They survive at 1 HP.
And then they hit Superman,
and they
way
reciprocate.
more powerful than his punch, and they survive. Yeah.
Okay, makes sense to me. Skid on TikTok says, "Let me in the stream. I will make my case." So normally we would take live calls, but on the YouTube side. So maybe next week we can entertain some a live call. But Skid did say Optimus Prime is narratively as much a paragon as Superman. And they say Optimus Prime wins against Superman. And I'm having trouble doing the math on that because I think Superman would kind of dismantle Optimus Prime. I like the answer of Rattata.
Meliodas? I don't know.
Could, honestly. There's a number of anime characters with very like narrative fourth wall breaking rules that could. Honestly.
Kirby.
Well,
No, well, Kirby is just super duper powered.
Bleach. The person that creates dimensions just traps Superman in a dimension with a red sun. I'm thinking about
Kirby is this a hunger god? That's true. I never thought about it like that. Obito.
Interesting.
I think Obito could just put him in the other dimension and just leave him in there for a long time. Yeah.
If we're talking about,
he can punch through dimensions. Never mind, that is true. I forget that that's a thing. God, comics are weird.
Well, no. If he's trapped in a dimension with a red sun, he doesn't have the power to punch through the dimensions.
Yeah.
Skid says if we're talking just power, we're not talking about power scaling. I was just a weird prompt to find the most ridiculous power set that's like weirdly weak as hell, but against Superman,
weirdly tailored to fight him specifically.
Yeah. So I was like thinking at first like Yamamoto Genryusai, who essentially could evaporate all of the moisture in a world where it just threatens the existence of the world. But that's more or less like a power scaling conversation. I'm talking about like, you know, like Balto. Is there a world where Balto beats Superman? Red Sun wouldn't immediately drain him. That's the problem. Yeah, but I feel like if he's trapped in a dimension with just a red sun, I feel like that would sap him enough where he can't escape it. I mean, I'm not an aficionado because like they did put him in a pocket dimension in the movie where Element Guy was mimicking a star. And
yeah. Oh, wait. Yeah. Metamorpho is just stupidly powerful, and no one ever uses him properly, and I don't understand why. But he's literally like one of the most powerful beings ever.
Well, we're talking about Superman has busted planets with red suns too, but we're talking about Superman existing in a solar system still. There are surviving and lingering UV rays from other galaxies that are permeating. But if you put him in a pocket dimension with just a red sun, that's all there is that's there.
Now, I don't know as much about Adam, but could he beat Superman?
You're not talking about Adam Smasher, are you?
No. Adam. Sorry, not Adam. Captain Adam. Which sounds weird, but yeah, those are two different characters.
Captain Steve.
And they're both DC. Yeah, the Atom is a character that grows and is just their Ant-Man, but Captain Atom is like living radiation, and I'm pretty sure he can rip the radiation out of Superman's body.
And that's what's powering Superman, right? The yellow sun radiation. Is that what you're insinuating?
Oh, that's what you alluded to earlier? I'm sorry, I missed that. But yeah, like he's literally just radiation in a suit. That's all he is, and he shoots radiation and can absorb radiation. So like him, he could do it, and then also what's his name? That's two characters who merge into one, and then they do science magic.
I have one. Hold on. Skid says GG from JoJo's. Part 5.
Firestorm. Thank you, DePaul. How you doing? Good to see you, Ryan.
What do you think of GG from JoJo's Part 5?
I can't remember Gigi's power.
He said it's pretty broken, that he could at least defeat Superman. Cal, where you at? Giorno Giovanna's power. Now hear me out for mine. Gambit. Remember what we talked about? Remember we talked about the physics explanation of potential energy and the conservation of energy. Limitless. Could Gambit touch Superman and make him explode with the limitless potential energy that Superman has? Could Gambit make Superman explode with his own potential energy? Not in a fight. This isn't Gambit can throw hands with Superman. I'm talking about, could he touch Superman?
I'm not remembering this. Does Gambit's ability work on organic matter?
Yeah.
Okay.
In the latest 97, he takes his own potential energy and infuses it into the master mold, into that Sentinel, and blows it up.
Well, but that's still him infusing it in. That's him blowing it up, not blowing himself up for him.
No, but in the animation, he is igniting himself. He's igniting his own energy, and then the glow like goes, the way it's animated, it's like he glows first and then it travels into the Sentinel.
Okay. Then yeah. I mean, I'm just thinking, like, I don't think I've ever seen him use it, but I don't remember it being a rule anywhere. I just understand as a person why he probably doesn't touch people and make them explode.
I imagine he can control it. He's not like Rogue.
Yeah, no, he can. But I mean, like, I'm sure he's never just like grabbed a bad guy by the neck and then turned them into chunks.
Well, Cal says the same thing as you said earlier when Mr. Sinister removed that part. But Gambit does do that in X-Men 97. As Nemo says, he put the energy in himself. I think Gambit would need to put out a lot to kill Superman. Here's my argument, though. He's not putting out any energy. He is drawing out the potential energy of Superman. And Superman represents galaxies of potential energy. That's what I'm saying. Like, Gambit doesn't need to have the energy within himself. You think about the potential energy of Superman and what that represents with Gambit's ability. I think Gambit could do it.
What about Bruno Bucciarati's?
What?
Bruno from JoJo's Part 5. He puts zippers on things, and he could zipper Superman like in half and leave him like. It would be the dumbest way. I think that's a contender of dumbest way to beat Superman. Like,
no, yeah, that's definitely within the spirit of the prompt.
Take his arms and legs off by unzipping them.
This is, of course, superseding everyone's tried and true argument with Superman. Oh, that's if they can do that before Superman blitzes them. and like, I gotta keep bringing the conversation back into the normal world. Superman is not character-wise known to blitz people and destroying their heads in a split second. He doesn't do that, right? Doesn't he have a similar no-kill rule?
Yeah, I mean, he tries not to kill people.
Yeah, so in a versus situation where it's just like 1 versus 1, they're dropped in the world, I don't think Superman is gonna lead with destroying someone's skull.
But yeah, I guess the message of this episode is to read Superman comics, I guess. But yeah, Superman is again, like you said, his comics are great when they are focused on things other than that, you know. I mean, one time Atlas, like the Greek Atlas, who's metaphorically holding up the earth, and Superman takes over for a day for it.
I saw that,
and that's a pretty compelling story.
He left in like 6 seconds, and Superman was like, "When are you coming back?" Oh crap! No, but what I liked about that story, or at least how it was told to me, because I was watching a video on it, is that like everyone's like heroism in the world was lightening the load.
Yeah.
That was really cool. But it's interesting to think about others that like other people that have the strength to do what Superman can't do. Just kind of like from a mythos standpoint.
You know what? Batman has an identical story to that. Now that I think about it.
You said Batman?
Yeah, so there's a story where there's a guy who literally is responsible for the safety of the earth, but all he does all day, every day for the past hundreds of years is like fight like demons in this other dimension, and to keep them from getting to the earth, and time is different there. Like time moves way faster there, and so he needs someone to stand. He needs people to stand in for him so he can come to Earth to to get married for a couple of hours. And Superman's like, "I'll do it," and he's like, "No, because in this realm, no one has powers, and Superman, you don't know how to fight." Superman literally doesn't know how to fight. He just has lots of powers, and so Batman and Wonder Woman go in there, but it's like them fighting demons for like a year straight, wondering if this guy's ever going to come back to retake his position. And eventually he does, and they're like, "Oh God, thank you." But it's the same story where he's like, where that guy's like, "Man, I couldn't leave this burden on anyone else."
I have one more contender, and that is Shunsui Kyoraku. And again, it's just kind of like forcing rules onto people where rules would supersede their overall durability, because you take his Bankai and you put the both of them in a kids game where Superman loses the game, and Superman loses.
Oh, Freeran, if she wields the scales of obedience. Did you watch all of Freeran?
No, but I can only imagine, because I've seen a clip of her doing some pretty nasty things.
You gotta watch the show. It's so good.
All right, I'll finish that, and then you watch Sentenced to Be a Superhero.
Okay.
I mean, you only have an hour to watch, but geez.
Yeah, but I mean, you and I watched the first episode of Free Run, and we really enjoyed it. And so if you continue,
I was
it,
the one that
you'll love
brought it to the table. I was like,
yeah,
you gotta watch this. We watched it, and then I was like, I'm watching other things. No, this all happened when I just like randomly decided to freaking screw everything and watch One Piece. This all happened because of One Piece.
No, that happened before. Oh, I don't know. That might have been when you first started watching it, but that happened because Ahsoka was coming out, and we were on the writer's strike.
Oh, maybe. I just know.
But yeah, Free Season 2 is next week. I've also got my wife obsessed with Free Run.
I just know that a lot of things
so
were
good.
frozen because of One Piece. That was a month and a half of my life where nothing existed.
Yeah.
I woke up, went out, did my shit, came back, put it on. And while I was doing my shit, I was putting it on. So yeah, we just started JJK.
Season 3.
Did you start that
so, I'm re-watching, and I'll be caught. I mean, I'm pretty sure I haven't watched any season 3. But yeah, my wife has been re-watching it. So we talked about it last week. We watched the first few episodes of season 2. That was like the movie.
One Piece is for real the GOAT anime. It's one of my GOATs now for sure. You know, I can't ignore my life for a month and a half watching something and be like, it's okay. No, it is one of my GOATs for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, One Piece season 1 is finally over. Yeah. Since they're gonna take their first break, they're like, "Yep, that was the first season. Season 2 will be."
Oh, they took a break. They took a break before. I think that was in the middle of a different arc, but they took.
Yeah,
a hiatus.
but they're literally referring them changing to week to week. So that's what they're calling season 1, is everything up to that point.
Oh, so they're. Oh, okay. So are they releasing the Elbaf arc in course?
I don't know. I think so. I think that's going to be the first arc that is like seasonal.
Interesting. But that's also another one you have to catch up to, right? Egghead.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's never normalize 1,000+ episode seasons. It was normalized
no.
a long time ago. Naruto just named the different show.
Yeah.
And then Boruto. So it's like, if it was still just under Naruto, just that title, they'd be over 1,000 episodes too.
Let's see. First one is, I want to say 218 episodes, and then they'd be up there. I don't know about breaking 1,000 yet, but they'd be way up there.
No, I think Naruto and Shippuden together are like 600, right? And then Boruto.
All I know is I remember season of Naruto itself is, it's either 218 or 225, and then Shippuden is longer.
And then Boruto right now is at 200, right?
It's been on hiatus for a while, but the manga's ongoing.
What else would be 1,000 episodes right now?
I mean, how far did Hunter x Hunter get?
Not very far. I think it was a little under 200.
Boruto is hard to follow with all the dang fillers. Very, very true. Yeah. You'd be better off just reading the manga, unless you want to see Sasuke fighting velociraptors for some reason.
Oh, I mean, overall, I was kind of on the dot there. So the original 1999 Hunter x Hunter was 62 episodes, and then the 2011 one was 148. So that's a little over 200, but
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Long run.
The war ant arc just it felt as long. I'm sorry.
It's great though. It's great. Let's do this math real quick.
The interesting thing about his show is every character in his show should be the protagonist of another show. Tell me you wouldn't watch a show with Kurapika as the protagonist.
Oh, absolutely. I thought you said crap. I thought you said crap guy. Sorry. I normally enunciate his name because it is so Kurapika, but it's like he's like Kurapika. I'm like crap guy. Oh, him. No, I would absolutely love a show about him. I would love a show about the. Now I'm forgetting the guy's name with that smokes. The business guy.
Oh yeah. No, I swear every character in that is. Yeah.
So using Cal's info, they'd be in episode 1013. Which is about the number of episodes that I watched in a month and a half. Black Clover is back with season 2 as well. Jeez. No, I'm only gonna. I gotta finish Clevitas, and then I'm gonna. Yeah, that's been back.
Vigilantes, yeah.
Clevitas, I gotta finish. I have like 2 more episodes to go, and then I'm gonna watch Free Run. I was super stoked for Free Run when it came out, and like, again, we watched it together. I was like, man, this is the thing. But it really gets difficult. It's like Star Wars comics and books. It's like once you fall behind, you're eternally behind. Ronin Warriors is back, but like, is that the reboot, or did they just bring Ronin Warriors onto Crunchyroll? That's the remake, right? Oh, I've seen Superman and Lois.
Very good. Yeah.
Skid says too many anime to keep up with for an old anime soul. Exactly. Oh, that's the name, Leorio. Exactly. Damn, we got some old heads in here, man. That's what's up. I love this community.
Oh, Fate Strange Fake.
Fate Strange Fake.
Hell's Paradise Season 2. Oh.
That was another one, man.
Season 1 was good, surprisingly good.
One anime got away that I'm super bummed that never came back was Rokka the Brave 6 was so good. What was it called? I might have just named half of it. Rokka Brave of the Six Flowers. That was so good, but I think it only got 1 season, if I'm not mistaken. It might have come back while I was kind of sulking about it. Hold on. No. Didn't come back. You know what? We should watch that. There's only 12 episodes. I want to show it to you. I want to get your reaction to it. It is one of those those anime that like really should have gotten a lot more fanfare. But it's 12 episodes. I think we should watch it together. I'll put it in the chat, Ryan DePaul.
All right. And then later this year, we're getting the final part of 1,000 Year Blood Arc.
That's true.
And we're getting Apothecary Diary Season 3. This year...
I need Kage Bunshin no Jutsu.
This year is...
I could technically do it too. Just 2 monitors, 2 browsers, 2 clones here, me on the couch watching on the TV. I could watch 3 anime at a time. And we'd be set. And then another clone that's out dashing. Gosh. Well, this has been a great episode, guys.
Yeah, great episode of Anime Watch.
The longer
Anime
this
/ Superman Watch.
The longer this goes on, the longer we can't watch this stuff.
Yeah,
So,
we
we gotta go. We gotta split. I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us and rocking with us. Darth Angel always on the TikTok side. Skid, the Marksman. You guys rock. Loved hearing your takes and insight on the conversations we were having. Everyone else in the chat, man. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you to Okonioye again for the 10-pound ramen drop. That is $13. I think sooner or later it's going to be 10 to like 26 at some point. I don't know. We're going to fall hard before things get better. But always a blast. Choco, any final thoughts?
Yeah. Once again, I know you just said it, but I do want to say thank you personally to this community for, again, helping me keep my sanity. You know, that's why I started creating content. Is there's a lot of anxiety. That time there was a lot of people going against my people. This time they seem to be going more against my wife's people. But all the same, it's great to be able to step out of it and chill with you guys, and also, you know, talk about some of these. I mean, Star Wars. You know, we talked about Andor. Like literally, it is what's happening. But this stuff also helps us to understand it a bit better, to understand what to expect, and I don't know. It's just a great time with the community. I'm just talking and rambling, but I love you guys. Thank you.
With that said, that's it. On to the next one.
For Light and for Life.
We are all together.
And may the force of anime be with you.
Always.
Yub Nub for life.